Ready? Steady. Go. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Thank you very much for investing time, and I hope that the content that we prepare for you today will be engaging and interesting. Well, today we're going to talk about file transfer, about MOVEit, a product by software, by Progress Software, about the data security within the organization and how we can improve data regulations, and also other interesting things. We are doing this webinar together with our partner Bakutech, and thank you guys for co-organizing and co-arranging with us this event today. My name is Nicoletta, and I'm a business development director here at Resolute Software. I have already around 15 years experience in the software industry on various sales and business development roles. And indeed, I've been part of the Progress MOVEit team before I've joined Resolute Software. So the topic with the file transfer is giving me some good confidence and is familiar to me. I have today with me Vesko, our senior MOVEit consultant here at Resolute, and also very experienced consultant in general with roots in senior level customer support, engineering, team leadership, and management. Just a few words about Resolute Software so that you know the company who is standing in front of you. We are a professional services company with more than 5 years experience and in software development, software and architecture consulting services, but also delivering outstanding UX and UI design services for our customers around the globe. Good. With this, Vesko, if I might give you the word so that you can walk us through the agenda for today.
Thank you, Nikki. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. So before going through the agenda, I would appreciate if you have any questions, please make sure to write them down in the chat. We'll try our best to answer all of them. So in today's agenda, we're going to talk about, actually, Nikki going to talk about MOVEit overview, the two products, MOVEit Transfer and MOVEit Automation. And then I'll be sharing with you the teams here guide or sequence that we use to improve our success rate during upgrades and migration. And of course, there's a couple of more things that I'm going to share during the actual migration upgrade slide. And then we are going to address common challenges that here in the team at Resolute were facing last year. Then we're going to share you about our service, MOVEit 360, and then we'll talk about the Q&A. Actually, we'll answer the questions during the Q&A from the chat. Okay, without further ado, Nikki, can you share us a little bit about MOVEit?
Certainly, thank you, Vesko, for showing us the agenda for the webinar. And yeah, let's start with opening up the business domain and business context for the file transfer. We've mentioned that we've been dealing with multiple very interesting customer situations around MOVEit and its usage. And I should say we have done the preparation of the content in a way that we believe it's relevant for people who are a part of organization looking for a new MFT or managed file transfer solution from scratch, but also for those who are already using MOVEit file transfer as a solution inside the company. So hope that for both groups there will be something to learn new and to take something from the webinar. And coming back to the file exchange and the usual situations or requirements that the organizations are having nowadays, we can demonstrate it like this. We are all using multiple tools for doing file transfer. Email attachments is very typical situations. Also, we are limited by the size of the file, but many organizations are using also cloud file shares or FTP servers and eventually triggered through some homegrown scripts. So these all tools are working partially, but of course, when it comes to data regulations or cybersecurity preventions, these are not serious tools. And that's why are coming many processing and human errors, and that's why sometimes there are cases for leakage of confidential information, which is of course no go nowadays with those level of regulations. So Vesco, if you can go to the next slide, where we somehow try to consolidate all these challenges under the capabilities that a managed file transfer solution like MOVEit can provide. Actually, we are starting with the safeguarding of the transfer. MOVEit has a very specific and special encryption, encrypting the files during the transfer, but also at rest, and lets the people at the organization manage, view, secure, control, and also automate all the file transfers. And this is done in a way which is compliant with the data protection regulations like GDPR, like HIPAA, PCI. It also offers full oversight and detailed audit trails, helping the organization to stay on top of the regulatory requirements. And when it comes to streamlining the business processes, it ensures the consolidation in a safely way of all the transfers by implementing top-notch encryption, by giving the chance to automate workflows within the organization. And like I said, all this is in very compliant and secure way. With the next slide, we won't go in depth with the capabilities of MOVEit specifically, because it's a very powerful tool. It has a huge amount of features and capabilities for everyone and for all different demands on the market. But if I may summarize and generalize, MOVEit is a mature managed file transfer solution so far. It is maintained currently by Progress Software, which is again solid US company. Known for its stability with the software products delivering. So this is already a good plus compared to all the new and not that well-developed solutions that are currently on the market. Also, it provides enhanced security. It secures file transfer with encryption, with access controls, with active monitoring, and also preventive options and temper evidence. It lowered the operational cost. How exactly? By optimizing the processes and consolidating all the file transfers within the organization. And it is capable to do this in a very scalable mode. And with this, of course, I need to mention that MOVEit is a solution that could be implemented in a high availability and disaster recovery environment. And by mentioning this, thank you, Vesco. Let's take a quick view at the ways MOVEit can be deployed. There is a variety, as you can see. So first of all, the classical on-prem options for IT teams that exercise full control over the new and the existing infrastructure, and in cases where there are some limitations of sharing the data outside of specific geographic. But we also have a hybrid mode of deployment, like the infrastructure as a service, and customers are choosing this option when they leverage public cloud, for example, but still manage and maintain their own infrastructure. Or we have option number 3 with the SaaS model, software as a service, which is a fully managed service combining infrastructure and MOVEit capabilities, and is provided in Azure environment and managed by Progress Software directly, with 4 nines uptime and respective support for this. So I hope with this quick overview, I've managed to begin the context and the to make the intro for the coming technical session, for which I'm sure that everyone is waiting, because it's the most interesting part.
Especially myself. Okay, thank you, Nikki, for the overview. A little bit about, I want to share some context before going through the slides. What we're going to talk about is first best practices when it comes to upgrade immigration. Then we're going to mention support. It's very important. Support is a very big part of the upgrade immigration process. And then we're going to share our sequence, our guide, the way we what we do to actually perform successful upgrade immigration. Okay, so on the first slide, what we see here is a very basic architecture. We have a MOVEit server that has the application and the database and the file server on the same machine. Pretty much straightforward. So when it comes to best practices, what are the best practices, right? Assemble a team, which conducts of application administrator, IT administrator, and database administrator, and then perform the research, download the upgrade guide or migration guide, check the requirements, and then create a backup and then test, right? Pretty much straightforward. So when it comes to upgrade, it's really easy. There's a high chance to succeed with this type of architecture. You just need to run the upgrade exe on the server, and it will do its job. That's it. Very high chance to succeed. However, when it comes to migration, it's a little bit complicated. You need to create a new server. For example, if you're on 2012 and you want to move to Windows Server 2019, you create a new server. Then you need to deploy again the application, etc. And then you have to run building commands on the old server that will generate the current configuration. And then you need to run commands to actually deploy them on the new server. So it's kind of a little bit complex, but still manageable, and you can do it successfully. So this one is pretty much straightforward. However, let's talk about the one that you're currently seeing, the current architecture that you see. So this one is MOVEit DMZ web farm. As you can see, we have 3 nodes. We have separate server where the database lies and the file store for security. And so now when it comes, I'll talk about support towards the end. So when it comes to upgrading this type of architecture, it's still we can find a guide. We can find a guide for upgrade or migration. We can so what we need to do is basically stop all the 3 nodes, upgrade the main one with the database, and then upgrade the second 2 nodes. Pretty much straightforward. There is still high chance to succeed the upgrade. However, I do tend to see customers reaching out to us before they even tried upgrading, which is good for us, of course. Yeah, so upgrade, pretty much straightforward. We can find the guides, best practices still work. But now the challenge comes when we actually need to do a migration, right? So when we do the migration, we actually need to create the web farm on the new server as in the old one. And then again, move all the configurations with built-in tools, and then import them to the new one. So this is the part where customers tend to run into issues or questions, and they open a ticket to the support team. However, when we do an upgrade or migration, we always have a deadlines, right? And when we reach out to support, this could take a lot of time. It depends on how we manage it. So when you open the ticket, usually you've run into issue during the test environment upgrade. So when you open the ticket, even if you open it as high, they will lower it to medium or to low priority because this is the process that they have. I've been in support for many years, so I know that. Trust me, that's how they do it. I also build those type of processes, which I'm sorry about that, but that's how it works. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about support. And why am I going to talk about support? Because last year, me and the team shared this type of information with a lot of customers, and they became super happy. All the issues that they have with the support, they were going through super fast, and they were super happy about it. So that's why I want to share this type of information with you as well. So usually in support, there are two tiers, tier 1 and tier 2 and R&D. In some cases, there's tier 3 and R&D, but we're going to go with the first one. So what are the processes? What we need to do here is actually move our case to level 2 as quick as possible. In order to do that, there is a barrier. The barrier is that level 1 has elevation template that they need to fill up before they can actually move the case to tier 2. And that's why that's the place where they will start asking you questions and going back and forward. Since the case is medium or low priority, it takes a lot of time. It might take weeks. Yeah, sometimes they can resolve the issue literally with the first email, but that's not always the case. So how can we move faster from tier 1 to tier 2? So I'm going to share with you the information that you always need to provide to them to speed up the process. Of course, that will not be all information. It will be like 80 to 90% of the information. So first thing, what you need to provide them is logs in the book with the exact time of reproduction. If you don't say, if you don't mention the exact time of reproduction, they will ask you again for the logs, and you have to do it again, and that's becoming annoying, right? A couple of customers reached that point and they were super annoyed. They was no longer providing the logs to the support, and they were requesting sessions, and the support was just ignoring it, and escalation, etc. And it takes a lot of time, right? So what we need to provide to level 1 support always is logs in the book, reproduction, exact time of reproduction. We need to provide all the steps that we followed in order to run to the error message, and we need to provide all the solutions that we tried online, because that we tried through searching online, to the knowledge base of Progress, etc. We have to provide all of this. If we don't provide the steps that we have tried, level 1 will most probably find the same ones, and they will send them to you as an update. And you'll be like, okay, we tried that already. We have to reply back to them. And there's, again, a lot of time. So provide the logs, provide the exact step, exact time of reproduction, and you're basically having 80 to 90% of their elevation template filled up. I hope that was useful. But now, let's move to the second one, which is the sequence, right? We are now, we have a, let's talk a little bit about the architecture here. As you can see, we have a very complex architecture, right? So now, when it comes to best practices, do they work? Yeah, they work to some extent. Still, we need to follow them, of course. However, downloading the guides for this type of architecture or migration, no, you cannot find this type of upgrades or migration guides anywhere. What about if we reach out to support and ask them to send us the exact step, the exact sequence that we need to follow in order to upgrade? No, they will provide a sequence by any means, but they haven't tested it. And if they haven't tested it, trust me, you'll run into issues again. Now, the question is the environment we want to migrate or upgrade too complex and we don't have a sequence? How do we actually build one? So here is actual solution that we are following. It's not something new. It's out there. It's out there. However, I haven't seen customers really using it. There were a couple of customers, enterprise customers, that they kind of follow some of it, but not the full extent, and that's why they're reaching out to us again, which is a good thing. Okay, so first one, train or hire application with the right skills. Okay, what are the right skills for application? Usually, when you hire application administrator, you need to administrate the actual application, but that's not the way. That's not it, because you run into the challenge where you need to perform an upgrade or migration, and if he doesn't know how it works in the backend a little bit, if you don't understand the server services, how the services work, or the database, user mappings, the actual MOVEit schema as well, then pretty much it, you'll be stuck there. So these skills are kind of mandatory for application administrator. Of course, you can hire someone else that's proficient in this type of area. But yeah, usually those type of skills should be from the application administrator. Next one is create an environment architecture. If you don't have one, okay, why am I adding this here? Is because the team here last year, during upgrades, majority of our customers, they didn't have actual architecture, and we had to build one for them. So without architecture, you're stuck. You cannot perform really actual proper upgrade or migration. Next one is identify the features within the architecture and conduct research, like the gateways, what we need to stop first, second. You need a person that can actually read the architecture to better understand and have really good searching capabilities. So after that, you have to build your sequence for your environment based on what you saw from the architecture. Then you test it. You'll definitely run into issues. However, you most probably reach out to support. That's okay, right? Until we finish the architecture and the actual guide for our architecture. Once we have that, once we succeeded, we can start our guide and use it for future migration and upgrades. and of course, iterating on it. If we want to add more nodes or different type of services, tools, etc., we already have the guide, we have the right person that can do it. So when we reach a point where we need to apply a hotfix or something like that, we already have a person that can actually follow the guide and perform a successful migration and upgrade. So it's not something new, it's out there, we know, but we haven't seen really customers using it or even trying it. Okay, I hope that this one was helpful. Let's move to addressing common challenges. So all the challenges that I'm about to share with you are challenges that here the team at Resolute, MOVEit Resolute, faced last year. There are not, for example, issues that we've downloaded from somewhere. These are all issues that we literally faced hands-on with the customers. The first one is configuration and management errors. The first thing that we always, or 89% of the time, see is allowed IPs to access the application. And those IPs are not even documented. There were no documentation about them, and when you ask the customer, they also the application, they have, in the majority of time, they have no clue, and that's expected because you don't have a description why this IP is allowed to connect to the application, this is a big no-no, and this is a huge security risk. The second one is majority of the times, the application administrator has admin users on the server and also have a database user. So he was able to access the server and also the database with his own credentials that he had. And that's also a huge security risk that it should never be like that. You always need to have an IT administrator on there and also a database administrator. And the next one was lack of monthly reports. Okay, but why? Why, Vesco, you'd ask lack of monthly reports? Out of curiosity. We during a communication, during an issue or something like that, we see kind of strange things happening in the logs, enabled features, disabled features, and we start asking questions, how managers, how do they manage the reports? And they were very vague about it. So what I would suggest you here to do is, most probably the application are sending reports to you by the end of the month. What I'll suggest you to do is for the managers to actually perform the same report, generate the same report 2 or 3 days beforehand, and then compare the two, and check if the administrators is actually removing some of the enabled features or disabled features or accessibilities, etc. You don't have to do it all the time, but just time to time, just to check. This is kind of a tip that what is very useful. Now let's move to MOVEit automation. Right, the first thing that we experienced was multiple times was lack of knowledge. During an upgrade or migration, we need to stop the MOVEit transfer services. And we ask the system administrator from the automation to stop the scheduler, because if we stop the services, all the tasks will start to fail for the MOVEit that are executed towards MOVEit transfer. And we were waiting there for hours, and that happened multiple times to myself. In 4 or 5 upgrades, I was waiting for like an hour, and then in the end, I was actually disabling them. Yes, so it's a very simple task to do, but we see that actual administrators didn't have the knowledge how to do it. Let's talk about user training and adoption. We often hear some similar sentences. He's a new fellow and he's here to teach himself, something like that. And like you need to create a proper onboarding training for those people, because there was some, if they don't go through a proper onboarding training, they might enable or disable a feature that really can expose your environment and can run into a lot of issues that way. So review your current onboarding training, see if they are sufficient, and they might need improvement. Performance bottlenecks is what type of issues we faced there was source server operations. When we review the logs, we see like resource shortages. There is not a lot of RAM on the server, or CPU is going over the roof. We saw complex configurations with firewall, proxy, reverse proxy, going through one IP to other IP, and then when we want the user to log into the application, it takes like 2-3 minutes for him to log in. And yeah, please review your system configuration if you have this type of issues. Review your logs, of course, and consider following MOVEit best practices in this matter in terms of networking. Next one is related again to MOVEit automation, is port task configurations. We run into multiple times, I see that the team here also mentioned it multiple times, that they run into issue where there is a huge task that does loops, fail statement going from one host to another host, etc. And when we do an upgrade or migration, and when we stop the MOVEit automation service, even if we disable the scheduler, those tasks are stuck in a loop and then crash the MOVEit automation services. So if you have this type of, if you are experiencing this type of issues, try to review your task and try to reduce the complexity of it. Because when I look at the customer's task, I came up with 2 or 3 ways that I can actually reduce the complexity of it. Next one is security and vulnerabilities. Of course, the first one is using old MOVEit versions, MOVEit application versions. Usually what I will suggest here is to always be one version behind the latest one. And when there is a new one, you go to the previous one. In terms of, when it comes to a new version, you don't know what type of issues you might face. There will be different builds after that will fix all of them. So yeah, just try being one version before the latest one in terms of security and different type of challenges, issues that you might face. So in terms of, I wanted to share also, there was a couple of times where a customer was considering whether to patch or upgrade for an issue or any type of issue, and you always have to do an upgrade. Don't patch. Either way, later on you'll still need to perform an upgrade. Software bugs or updates. Many customers tend to apply hotfixes immediately upon release. And what they do is actually they are doing that on production environment. And you should never do that. You should always apply the hotfix first on a test environment, see if everything is working, out of test was gone through, and then apply to the production environment. We faced that multiple times. In terms of encountering a bug, users always open a ticket immediately to the support. And what I will suggest you to do in this type of situation is to actually copy and paste the error message that you have in Google. It will definitely, there is a really big chance that it will redirect you directly to the knowledge base that actually have the steps for and then in solution for this type of bug. Because if you open a ticket, then you might wait weeks until you actually apply it and fix it. So just perform a research before conducting opening a case. Yeah, that's pretty much it about the common challenges that we faced last year. I know what you're most probably thinking. Okay, Vesco, but this is mostly related to user errors here. Of course, we run into issues during action upgrades. We had issues with the IS configuration. Sometimes they're not applying. We sometimes run into database corruptions. Yeah, of course, there's issues with the application, but which application doesn't have issues, right? These are actually the biggest concerns that we have last year, because majority of the issues that I'm sharing here with you are related to actual security vulnerability. Yeah, and could there be a simple solution for all the issues that and challenges that I shared with you during the last few slides? implementation upgrade, establish environment architecture, onboarding, and configuration. There's a lot of work that you need to work until you actually build all those processes. What about health check, application health check? I haven't seen customer really doing any application health check. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anyone doing, and I'm really person that really talks with the managers just to see how they operate. But I haven't really seen one. So is there a better way? Is there a solution, a simpler solution for that? Yeah, of course there is. It's called MOVEit 360. Nikki, can you share us a little bit about MOVEit 360?
Yes, certainly, and thank you, Vesco, so far for the insights. These were really sourced from experience and actual situations with MOVEit implementations, which is very helpful. Thank you. And yeah, you're right. Challenges will be always there when we are dealing with software, and there will be always the need to involve experienced consultant to take a look, to review, to resolve the issues by gathering all the artifacts needed to present the problem, to analyze it and resolve it. We've gathered all this feedback that we have from customers using MOVEit, and also from customers who are looking to implement the solution, and put in place an annual maintenance type of service called MOVEit Enterprise 360, because we believe that this is exactly the gap between the product support delivered by Progress Software, which is the standard product support, and the internal team of IT admins, system admins that the companies have in-house. So we decided to shape it in a form of annual maintenance. Like I said, MOVEit Enterprise 360 is code, which is giving you an access to the all expertise that we gathered here at Resolute with our internal MOVEit team. This service goes behind the standard support for multiple reasons. First of all, it's been delivered by consultants like Vesco, who are being involved many times in dealing with hard situations with MOVEit. Right, it's not just a support agent who is standing there and acknowledging that the ticket is addressed. But also, MOVEit Enterprise 360 allows to organizations to completely outsource the management of MOVEit application, no matter if we're talking about MOVEit transfer or MOVEit automation, and also independently of the deployment scenario in the cloud, on-prem, or etc. MOVEit Enterprise 360 actually adds a level on top of the service that it's delivering the standard product support. We are often collaborating with the product support team to resolving the issues that may arise. And we're doing so by gathering the artifacts from the system, structuring them, analyzing already the root cause of the problem. And when it comes to the product, the support team of Progress is there to support us down the road, resolving the issues. But the consultants at Resolute are the ones managing the whole process. Actually, we've tried to do it easily also for companies who not necessarily would like to gain MOVEit experience in specific in details. Of course, for those who would like to train their people, there is an onboarding and admin training also included in MOVEit Enterprise 360, and this comes along with proactive health checks, with planned product and database upgrades, with even custom scripting, which is a professional services type of exercise anyway, and even goes behind the standard services, and we can add UI customizations for those cases where your organization would like to tweak or add a specific look and feel of the system for the end customers, especially if the file transfer process goes and reaches external users of the system. So this is like the service source from the experience and from the real customer requirements, and so far have been accepted very, very well. So that's why I'm happy to follow up with everyone who is interested in understanding more about this type of service. inquiring a quote or just booking technical consulting so that we discuss your requirements for file transfer. Good. And I believe with this, we are ready to jump into quick Q&A session, right, Vesco? If you're ready,
Yes.
because you're the one who can tackle technical questions. And while you were presenting, I've monitored the chat, and I'm seeing a few interesting questions here, which I would like you to address right on the fly. For example, there is one interesting: as a provider of enterprise support, what steps would you take if you encounter an issue that you're not able to resolve? So they're challenging you, Vesco.
Okay. So when we usually run into issue that we can't solve, last year we actually ran into 2 issues out of 20 upgrades that we couldn't resolve, and we had to reach out to R&D. But how we do that? What we do, we are opening a ticket to Progress, and we provide all the details that I previously mentioned, and of course all the steps that we did, all the solutions, and usually the cases are going really fast to R&D in these type of scenarios. So this is what we do when we actually get stuck. We're expediting the case to R&D in Progress.
All right, it
I
seems
hope
like
this answers the question.
collaboration mode between our consultants, the Resolute consultants, and the product support, which is probably the best combination that we can deliver to MOVEit customers. All right, good. Next one, MOVEit, is it compatible with cloud environments?
Yes, I think Nikki did mention that. Yes, it is compatible with AWS. It's compatible with Azure. It even have native integration with Azure. You can, if you go to Azure in the search bar, if you search MOVEit, you'll see the applications. You can install them right away from there, and they do tend to come with 30-day free license, so you can test it out in case you want to. Yes,
All right.
they are compatible.
Thank you very much for your answer, Vesco. Next one would be, can MOVEit integrate with existing applications?
Yes, it can. It can with REST API. It depends on the application, of course. But for example, I can give some examples: SAP, Enterprise Product, OneDrive. So it can. Maybe with some limitations, but it can integrate. Yes.
And I can also add from purely product perspective that the solution has good integrability options and all type of APIs that nowadays are needed, so that it could interact and be seamlessly integrated with other systems. All right, just my 2 cents. Cool. Last question, if you allow me, Vesco, it's regarding MOVEit 360. Can MOVEit 360 assist even in environments that are not particularly complex? I'm assuming this is a question because you've presented very complex architectures over there. So how can you comment on this one?
So yes, it can. So for example, if your environment is not that complex, we will help you get to the point where your environment gets complex, but also you having all the team on board. You will have all the documentations for your environment, all the documentations that you need for upgrades and migration, all the processes that you need to follow, best practices, smooth. You'll be just ready to go enterprise. So yes, of course it is.
Thank you. I believe it's okay, and we've spent some time answering the questions. Of course, feel free to reach out and to email us new questions. If you came to those, we'll be happy to answer all of them. And for now, I will be very thankful for your feedback to the webinar. And of course, you can, if you reach out to us with additional questions, you can find out more about MOVEit 360 as well. And Vesco, you can display also the slide with the domain for MOVEit 360, where you can find out more details about the service. And of course, feel free to reach out if you're new into the file transfer and need some consultancies of how to select, how to implement MOVEit as a managed file transfer. We'll be happy to assist you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Vesco, for the presentation as well.
Thank you, Nikki, as well. Appreciate your time, everyone.
Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.